And now we turn to a story that hits very close to home for all of us who work at NBC News. Brian Williams, who's anchored nightly news since 2004, has been suspended from his job for 6 months. NBC national correspondent Peter Alexander has more on that. Peter, good morning to you.
Hi, Matt. Good morning to you. The suspension follows nearly 2 weeks of scrutiny and uncertainty in the wake of comments that Brian Williams made about his experience covering the early days of the Iraq War in 2003.
Brian Williams has been suspended without pay for 6 months as both anchor and managing editor of NBC's nightly news, a role he's held since 2004. NBC News President Deborah Turness announced the suspension late Tuesday, saying Williams misrepresented events regarding an incident that occurred during his coverage of the Iraq War in 2003. She called that wrong and completely inappropriate for someone in Brian's position. In this report in 2003, Williams did not say the helicopter he was in took fire.
On the ground, we learned the Chinook ahead of us was almost blown out of the sky.
But in 2013, Williams told David Letterman he was on a chopper that was hit.
2 of our 4 helicopters were hit by ground fire, including the one I was in.
No kidding.
RPG and AK-47.
A week and a half ago on Nightly News, Williams paid tribute to retired Army Command Sergeant Major Tim Turpak, who helped him after they landed.
When the helicopter we were traveling in was forced down after being hit by an RPG.
Soldiers who were on the helicopters back in 2003 questioned that account, leading to this on-air apology 1 week ago.
I want to apologize. I said I was traveling in an aircraft that was hit by RPG fire. I was instead in a following aircraft.
In addition to the suspension, NBC News says its internal review is ongoing. Turness stating, in addition, we have concerns about comments that occurred outside NBC News while Brian was talking about his experiences in the field. It's been widely reported that questions have been raised about comments Williams has made describing his coverage of Hurricane Katrina, including claims he saw a body floating outside his hotel in New Orleans' French Quarter.
He's an outstanding journalist. He's been a great anchorman, and all those things. I have great respect for him. But I do think this was an instance where you can't really find an excuse for it. And I think that's why NBC had to act.
Steve Burke, CEO of NBC Universal, the parent company of NBC News, said by his actions, Brian has jeopardized the trust millions of Americans place in NBC News. His actions are inexcusable, and the suspension is severe and appropriate. Brian's life's work is delivering the news. I know Brian loves his country, NBC News, and his colleagues. He deserves a second chance, and we are rooting for him. Brian has shared his deep remorse with me, and he is committed to winning back everyone's trust.
And as part of her statement, NBC News President Deborah Turness also announced that Lester Holt will continue to substitute anchor the NBC Nightly News. Matt and Savannah.
Peter, thank you very much. It probably goes without saying for you folks at home, but this is a very difficult story for us to report on because it is so personal in so many ways. Most importantly, Brian is not only a colleague of ours here, but he's a really good friend.
We all care a lot about Brian. That's what makes this so hard. We also care a lot about this place,
right.
The standards of NBC News, and that's what NBC is trying to balance here. So we can only say we wish the best for Brian in this time. We hope the best for NBC as well, and we look forward to Brian's return.
And can we just say also a thank you to Lester Holt, who brings his enormous skills to Nightly News on an interim basis during very difficult circumstances. So, Lester, thank you to you.
Absolutely.